Hello, growers. I just wanted to give you an update and say Happy Memorial Day. I wanted to show off my carnivorous plant bog garden, and then also a new toy that I got. I ended up picking myself up a par meter because I was experiencing some cosmetic damage to my flavias this year. I did change out my media, which raised my pictures up closer to the lights. And the lights, the way I had them currently, it was giving cosmetic burning, like LED burning on the edges of the pitchers. You may notice that the pitcher plants, they actually produce a sweet nectar, and that's what attracts the bugs, and I believe gets the bugs drunk, and then the bugs fall into the trap where they can be digested by the plant. But what you'll see is that nectar will actually grow on the outside rims of the hoods of the pitcher plants. And when you have the high intensity LED lights hitting that nectar, the nectar actually acts as a magnifying glass and can give cosmetic burning. And so I'm hoping to resolve that by raising the LEDs much higher off my pitcher plants. And as you can see, I have now kind of arced or rainbowed my LED light. So the LEDs that are closer to the surface is going to actually be covering more of my Venus flytraps. With the par meter, I'm able to actually measure the light intensity at the Venus flytrap. And Venus flytrap's ideal range is like I think it was 400 to 500. And so I'm at 305 par right now, roughly, at the Venus flytraps. Before I dropped the spider farmer lights downwards towards the traps, I was actually getting like 220 par. So having the increased light should help the Venus flytraps grow even more. In the past, I didn't have the par meter, and, red traps like this is an indicator of great lighting. So when your traps get really red, that means they're happy. And green traps usually means that you're not providing them adequate light. So, with the red traps, I've never really questioned it. But because of the burning of the flavias, I decided to raise some lights, and I was like, okay, well, now I should, invest in a par meter, which, this guy was only like $79 on Amazon. It really allows me to pinpoint and dial in my lighting for these plants. And I'm really hoping to see some tremendous growth that I can share with you guys. I am ordering 2 more LED lights that I will stagger in between these higher lamps and the lower lamps. And hopefully that'll bring my power up to maybe 350 or 400, which is more of an ideal range for Venus flytraps. But as you can see, everything's still doing really, really well. I do have this one Venus flytrap, which Google Lens said that it's possible, after I had a conversation with good old AI, it said it's possible that maybe this trap is actually suffering from like a transfer shock, which is very possible. Again, this spring, before everything came really out of dormancy, I transplanted it all from 4 containers into these 2 larger containers. The crown inside there still looks good. It's not all rotten. I do have a new trap that's forming. Plus I also have this little tiny dark green trap, which is a little unusual. As you can see, I already had one that had formed. It's very leathery and dark green, unlike the rest of the traps that I grow. AI is like, well, that definitely could be shock. And hopefully within time, this trap will just rebound, especially now that I'm making adjustments to the lights and dropping the lights closer to the traps. And then I'm going to add 2 more lights, which will bring my lighting from 5 lamps, which have grown for the last 3 years, these plants underneath, to 7 lamps. And so I recommend like Google Lens to anybody that has questions with their carnivorous plants, there's in the Google search bar on your phone app, if you look at the search bar, you're gonna see a little camera icon. If you touch that camera icon, it will actually bring up your camera. And then you can take a picture of whatever you're interested in about, and it will give you information. And so you can go ahead and take a picture of your carnivorous plant, if it's healthy or unhealthy, and it will tell you all about your plant. So I'd recommend using Google Lens to help you guys with your guys' carnivorous plant endeavors. Just kind of a quick reference I wanted to bring out because the cloud's not in the way, about how many par the sunlight gives outdoor plants. And so, you know, that's over 2,000 par, and underneath the artificial light, you know, we're striving to get 400 to 500 par with the Venus Flytrap. So a lot of people that are having issues with your plants, I really recommend getting yourself a par meter. That way you guys can see how much lighting you're giving your carnivorous plants. You know, carnivorous plants need acidic soil, peat and perlite. They need a good light source, and you have to use RO water or rainwater to water these plants. You can't use tap water in most cases. There is some people that live in certain areas, they use a TDS meter, and they measure the total dissolved solids in their like tap water. And there is, in rare cases, some people that have tap water that is appropriate to grow these type of plants. I live out in the country, and I'm on well water, so the total dissolved solids in my water is about 111, which is great for us, but it's not good for plants. So I run all my water through a reverse osmosis system, and that brings the total dissolved solids down to about 5. So if people are struggling keeping their carnivorous plants alive, it very well could be that you don't have the correct light, you're not growing in the correct media, or you have too many minerals in your water. You know, these plants, they get their minerals from eating bugs. As you can clearly see, they love to eat bugs. So it's a great garage setup, because if you ever get flies or anything that comes in the garage, they don't last long. Anyways, I hope everybody has an awesome Memorial Day weekend, and I will catch you on the next video.